My definition of what it means to be a Christian is to live by God's standards and by His rules, but also be a part of the world.
From what I understand, Christianity, they teach you like basics, things like, love your neighbor and stuff like that. 10 Commandments, you follow that, you're good to go.
Just going to church or praying, I would say.
What would Jesus do?
Pray all the time and trying to get other people to become a Christian and like look up to God and find their way to God.
Willing to help others, someone who's like puts everyone before themselves, someone who can admit when they make a mistake. Definitely, that's a major part of it.
I guess you believe in God and you practice church every week. You go to church.
Read the Bible.
I guess believing in Jesus and following your faith and being happy. What are some things that Christians can do to try and be better?
They definitely can volunteer anywhere, soup kitchen.
Volunteer work and go into more like a poverty town and help to do like a trash cleanup or somewhat.
They can help more people.
You know, Justin, I do try to be a good Christian and love thy neighbor as thyself, and I do pray, but there's sometimes where I feel like I could just do more.
You know, I feel the same way. I have a close relationship with God, but I do feel that I could do a better job with living life as a Christian.
Well then, I guess this is the perfect show for us.
Yep. Being a better Christian, that's what we'll be talking about today. Hi everyone, I'm Justin.
And I'm Tess.
And this is Real Faith TV.
The teens on the street shared what they thought they could do to become better Christians.
We'll hear from them a little later in the show.
But first, let's meet our spotlight guest, Sammy.
She will tell us why being a Christian and behaving like one is important to her.
And who are the role models who help her to become a better Christian?
Let's check it out.
To me, behaving and being like a Christian, it means a lot to me. I think being a Christian has to do with being a good person and doing things for others that are less fortunate in the world. I love being a Christian. The ways I try to practice my faith is going to church every Sunday, volunteering for fundraisers and anything my school offers, like charity works, like we have soup kitchens and stuff that we go to in Frio Borough. I think helping the people that don't have food is just a great way to show my faith. So my role models for me being Catholic would be my parents. I'm an only child, so I was raised with all the love in the world. My mom definitely, she does all she can just to help other people. She's very selfless. If she'd put other people's happiness in front of her own, and I think that's very inspiring. And my dad too. My dad, he has just such strong beliefs that they kind of inspire me to believe as strongly as he does. They just both have hearts of gold, and their morals and values just reflect on what I want to believe in and how I want to feel about different aspects of life. My parents, the way they inspire is they're models of Christ, and they show me how to be a good Catholic. Not only my parents, but my family as a whole. My aunt and uncle too, they also get involved with their church, which is St. Athanasius. They really give back.
Like Sammy, my parents inspire me to be the best Christian I can be. My mom is a religious ed teacher, and my dad also helps her out with her classes, and they also always volunteer their time. Even when they don't have much time to give, they can volunteer all of it.
I have to say my parents too, they're the most prominent figures in my life who point me in the right direction and always remind me of my faith and where I come from and who I am in Christ.
Let's see who inspires our guest to become better Christians.
Okay, they are Jimmy, Colin, Patrick, Allie, Flo, and Lauren. So who are the people in your life who help you to be a better Christian?
I know one person that comes to mind is my Catholic priest. He always just tries to make the best of the situation. That really shows to me that being a good Christian is helping others and really making the best out of a situation.
My youth group leader, Drew, he always puts other people's needs before his own, and he always does it with a smile, and that's something that I really struggle with, so I definitely look up to him as a role model in Christianity.
I know for me, I look up to my cousins, not just because they're older, but they also created a youth group at our church. So a lot of the time, I'll see the things that they're doing and I'll be inspired to help them with setting up for the youth groups or with any event that they have regarding the church.
I know for me it would be my sister Danielle. She's always just a great role model, and she's always trying to be the best person that she can be and always volunteer, and she'll always like invite me to come. She's like, Allie, you gotta get into this and like do this, and I'm just like, yeah, like let's go, and she always gets me like pumped up to do like great things. So
I would say my mom, because she's always trying to help other people no matter what, and she's always taking me to church. She's always trying to influence me to be a better Christian, and I just really admire her.
My religion teacher is definitely one of my biggest role models because he taught me how to love other people and how to become, really close to God.
I'm gonna have to say my parents because they're so involved with so many activities of our church, and because they're involved, they bring me into it, and I just feel like a better Christian.
Blessed Mother Teresa of Calcutta said,
Love the poor and do not turn your back on them.
For if you turn your back on the poor, you turn your back on Christ.
He made himself hungry, naked, and homeless,
so that you and I would have an opportunity to love him.
Next, Sammy tells us how, to her, being a better Christian means making others happy.
And volunteering and reaching out to those in need.
And now, back to the wall.
I want to make people happier. Like, I'm fine with how I feel, but me being happy is making other people happy. So I want to just give my happiness to other people. I feel like I don't want to be selfish. I want just people to be happy, and I'll do whatever it takes. Ways that Christians can be better is just to get out there, just maybe help other people become better Christians in the world. Maybe go to church every Sunday, confess, just different ways, like getting out there, volunteering, doing charitable work. The things I do to be a better Christian would be like when I start working, part of my paycheck's gonna go to Make-A-Wish Foundation, and during Christmas time, we have Secret Santa. So what I do is I grab like more than one of the name tags, and I get more than one present for them. I kind of like wrap it up in a special way, and I give it to people that don't have it, because you never know when you're gonna be in that situation. Being a good Christian isn't only, going to church every Sunday. It also has to do with you're taking Jesus into your heart and you're doing everything fully. I was actually watching a show, it's called Secret Millionaire. And it's about these people that are millionaires, and they go undercover as regular, everyday people, and they go into communities that aren't as fortunate as they live in. And what they do is at the end, they give people some of their money. They're putting their love and heart and soul into helping other people. To be a better Christian is to take what you've learned in the church and put it into everyday life. It's even in your own school, even if it's only the friends you have, just to be a good Christian and kind of bring it to that person, kind of give some of your Christ to that person, whether they're Catholic or not.
So what are some of the things you do to be a better Christian?
When I'm in school and I see a girl who's really upset, and I just go up to them, I'm like, you're beautiful, and they get happy and it makes me happy.
No way, Colin, you do that?
He does. I've seen it.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Personally, like, I think in order for me to be a better Christian, first I have to have a good relationship with God. So like I try to establish like a time where I can like go and like pray in the morning, or like go out of my way, like maybe when I have a problem, like read the Bible.
Sometimes, like during the homily, I start daydreaming. So to be a better Christian, I could just bring myself back and try to find a meaning behind what he's saying. And even like when my parents tell me to do something, instead of just doing it because I have to, I should just do it because I want to and I love them.
To me, it's all the little things that you can do to help people, like hold the door for someone or help somebody with their groceries. And to me, all these little things just help me realize that the people that are in need, and just to practice for me to be more brave to go around and help other people.
We know that nobody's perfect.
But that isn't what being a better Christian is about.
Being a better Christian means trying to improve and not be complacent with your life as a follower of Jesus.
There are always new things to learn about Christ.
And new ways to experience him.
This can be difficult, though, in the world that we live in.
Next, let's find out if the teens on the street try to practice their faith.
And if they ever feel torn between their desire to be better Christians and desires for worldly things.
Let's go back to the wall.
You try to practice your faith and behave like a Christian? Explain why or why not.
I mean, I try my best to be the best Christian I can, but like I said, we're all sinners, so we make mistakes just like everyone.
I do try to like be a Christian all the time, but sometimes it's really hard because your friends are like, will look at you a certain way, but you have to be an individual and think about like what God will say if he saw you like just brushing off his beliefs because your friends don't believe in it.
I mean, I would like to get more into it, but it's just such a, not a fun subject for teens. So I feel like the priest should make it a more fun subject by making it in like a teen way where like teens can relate to that kind of stuff with the homily.
Yeah, of course I try. No one's perfect, obviously, and if you do something wrong, then you sort of have like a guilty conscience, like, oh, you know, I wasn't supposed to do that, and then you just pray and ask for forgiveness.
I'm not perfect, but, you know, I don't pray every night, but I pray when I need to, when I know he's there for me.
We go to church every week and all that.
Yeah, of course. Before a meal, say a prayer, even if it's to yourself. Like sometimes people may be embarrassed, but that doesn't matter as long as you do get that in.
Do you ever feel torn between your desire to be a better Christian and your desire for worldly things?
Yeah, sometimes like if I want to go to like the movies or go buy new clothes and we're supposed to be going to church that day or do something, I feel like I really want that thing and it'll make me feel better if I have it.
I guess, like, sometimes I do have to miss church because I have to be at dance or anything, but I try my hardest to make sure everything works together.
There's a lot of secular desires that everyone wants, and that's why we all struggle.
I mean, there's always that conflict inside you, but you just gotta tough it out and be patient and just pray about it, honestly.
Next, Sammy tells us about the time she is torn between her faith and the desire for worldly things.
And the temptations she faces as a teenager.
Sometimes people tell you, why are you so religious? They don't understand because, you know, they don't share the same belief. So I guess sometimes I'm torn between people just not understanding your beliefs, I guess you could say. Sometimes a friend will be like, oh, don't go to church, hang out with us. Kind of like you're torn between hanging out with your friends and then going to church. And even though you know you have to go to church because that's your faith and that's what you believe in, sometimes maybe you felt like, all right, you know, I'll just go to church next week. They kind of keep you from your faith. So then that's where you say, listen, I have to follow what God wants me to do. Temptations that make it hard for young people to be better Christians is sometimes drinking, partying, just trying to fit in, I guess you could say. But staying on the right path it has to do with how you like have your morals and values. And I think that has to do with your parents, because my parents have raised me to not party, not drink. I mean, there's other things to do than just all that. You could have fun in other ways than getting plastered on the floor. I had a friend that had a birthday party. There was alcohol involved. They offered me to drink, but I was driving home and I'm underage, and it isn't worth like drinking and driving and then possibly like killing an innocent person, and especially because it's underage and it's illegal. But I can't force people not to drink. I mean, me personally, I think it's not a wise decision, and that's why my faith comes in of me being a good Christian. Especially because in the back of your mind, just think about, why are you doing this? How would Jesus feel about this? How would your parents feel about this if you're doing it behind their back, obviously? So it's just not what you were taught to do. So in the end, you'll just feel like, what a mistake I've made. And it's just like sinning in a way, and God will just be disappointed in you.
St. Augustine of Hippo is known for his transformation from leading a wild life of partying and loose living to becoming a priest and later a bishop in the church.
Stories like this encourage us that it's never too late to find or rediscover God.
God is always there, waiting for us to come back to him.
Waiting for us to turn our lives over to him.
So can you think of any times when you felt torn between your faith and the desire for worldly things?
Well, I know that once my friends, they were going to a concert, and it was on a Saturday night, and I knew that I had to go to church in the morning and altar serve, and I really, really wanted to go, so I ended up skipping church and going to the concert, which I knew wasn't the right thing to do, but...
I was going out to go to get Rita's with my friends, and my mom's like, oh, you should definitely go to adoration with us at like 5. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go. And then I chose to forget, and then my mom called me, and my mom's like, why didn't you go? I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot. When I really didn't, I just didn't really feel like going, so I lied. So I kind of turned to my religion right there.
For me, it would be this one time where I was going to sleep over my friend's house on a Friday night, and the next morning she told me that she was going to help special needs kids, helping them to play soccer. And I really didn't feel like going because you had to wake up early, and I was just like, I really don't want to do that. But I ended up sleeping over her house, and we went there the next day, and it was just a very eye-opening experience, and it was just very life-changing because those kids were just so amazing.
For some of us, change can be difficult.
We can become content with our lives just the way they are.
But improvement to ourselves and our relationship with God does not occur without a little motivation, contemplation,
and action on our part.
Next, the teens on the street tell us what it is they would change about themselves, which would help them become better Christians.
What is one thing you can change about yourself that would help you to be a better Christian?
Like more volunteer work, I would have to say, and helping the less fortunate.
If you see somebody on the street and they're like in trouble, to help them instead of just walking away because you're afraid you're gonna get hurt or somebody's gonna make fun of you.
Be more forgiving.
I could like be a little bit more like selfless and help others a little bit more, because I think that's one flaw that I do have.
One thing I can change about myself is speaking more of God and less of the things that are around me, and showing people that just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean I'm a boring person.
Definitely read the Bible more, because if you know the Word, it definitely makes you more solid with what you're trying to pursue to people, that Jesus is real, and it proves to them, I guess.
Make sure I always got to church, because there is a lot of weeks where I just can't get there, whether it's soccer practice or something, but to make sure that that becomes a bigger priority in my life than all my sports and stuff.
Wake up in the morning and actually go to church. Yeah, it's a tough one for me.
Go to church more often, go to confession, actually practice my religion instead of playing video games or going out and doing my other hobbies that I have.
What are some of the things you think you could change about yourself to become better Christians?
I think that I can become like more committed, because like, I don't know, I'm sure like all of us go through this, but like I think sometimes I have like dry spells where like my faith is a little low, or like my relationship with God isn't as strong as it always can be. So I think like a committed schedule, like I would wake up and like pray, or like read my Bible like from time to time. Like I think that would make me a much better Christian.
I think something that would make me a better Christian would be like really listening to people's problems. Like when I'm on the phone and they're telling me things, so like you hear me and I'm like, and they're like, did you get that? I'm like, yeah, when the truth is I really didn't. And what if it's something really serious that I probably should have listened to? So I think it would help me to just listen to people's problems instead of saying, yeah, I'm listening, but really I'm not.
I think it would be, for me, would be to be less selfish and use my time more wisely, because most of the time I just kind of like sit at home and like go on the computer and just sit on like Tumblr or whatever. And like, it's more, I should like be out there and like helping and like volunteering and helping more people.
I think I should start going to confession and adoration more, because I feel like that would make me a better Christian.
I definitely agree. I feel like something that's lacking in my life is going to adoration and just spending that time one-on-one with Jesus. It's something that I've always wanted to do.
The gifts of the Holy Spirit, which you receive in fullness when we are confirmed into the Catholic Church, can help us to be better Christians.
These gifts are wisdom, knowledge,
counsel or right judgment,
and fortitude or courage,
reverence or piety,
and wonder and awe.
All of these gifts can help lead us on the right path of being a better Christian.
Next, Sammy gives us some additional advice on how to be a better Christian.
And how it never ends. There are always ways to go deeper in our faith and closer in our relationship with God.
Let's go back to the wall.
Me and my family, we were at church, and my mom, she saw this like homeless family, and we ran home, and my mom got together a group of like foods, and she brought it back to the family because they don't know where their next meal is going to be. Honestly, get involved in your local charity, whether it's helping people, volunteer. I volunteer for the Wounded Warriors, and it's people that fought for our country that no legs, like they're in wheelchairs. Just little things like that to make a person smile is the best thing. Get involved in any aspect possible in the church. Do things that older people do. Get a head start, I guess you could say. Go to church every Sunday, I definitely recommend that. And One thing is to actually listen, because I know young kids, when they go to church, they tend to just, sit there and just whatever. Because in the end, there's a message out there, and the message is to be a good Catholic, and it'll definitely inspire you in the end. Definitely get involved in a youth group, because it'd be a great way just to mingle around with people that share what you share and won't judge you for, believing what you believe in and reading the Bible. For me, it's kind of like a no-brainer to sacrifice for people, because in my heart, I love them. Sacrificing my time, it's all worth it. Prayer helps me be a better Christian, because I feel like it just relieves you of all the pain and stress or just anything you want to get off your chest and you want to talk to God. It's different than praying to God and then talking to a friend, because God, He's a listener, and you don't have to worry about getting judged in any way, and it just gives you a great way just to relieve your stress. I think that we always get better. I think that there's no stop to getting better. The best is just, infinity. It just keeps going. You could become amazing every second of every day. I'm going to make the world a better place through my faith and just being a great Catholic and making God proud at the end of the day.
Going to church at least every Sunday and receiving the Eucharist can definitely help us to become better Christians.
Of course, if you're receiving the body and blood of Christ.
Christ's real presence. This is definitely spiritual food that positively nourishes our soul.
And would help us on our journey to be better Christians.
Next, let's go back to the teens on the street and find out if they could think of any Bible quotes which would inspire them to become better Christians.
Let's check it out.
All the quotes in the Bible will help you become a better Christian and a better person. You just need to read the Bible and pick out which one will really help you out.
John 3:16, for God so loved the world, He gave His only begotten Son, for whosoever believeth in Him shall not perish but have everlasting life. And I just think that's the most powerful quote in the Bible, because it shows what God went through to make sure that we had what we needed to survive on this earth. And so by us living by that, can see the sacrifices we can also give up.
If we're listening with the ears of faith, we can experience God.
What advice do you have for someone who desires to be a better Christian?
And can you think of any prayers or Bible quotes which can inspire us to be better Christians?
A quote that comes to my mind is the golden rule: treat others as you would want to be treated. So be nice to those, and hopefully they would be nice to you in your turn. So it's like something that shows you being a good Christian is always being nice, even though they might not be nice in your turn.
I agree with the girl who said John chapter 3:16, which is basically about Jesus dying for us. And it's just so amazing that he gave everything, everything that he had, and just for us. And I think that we as humans need to give back, not necessarily giving everything, but in a way thinking oh, well, there's my iPhone, I need that. You don't need that. You just give it up and go instead, go to church and go be a better Christian.
Something that I think of would just be not afraid, because if you're going to go deeper into your faith, you just need to take that leap and just go for it. You can't just be like, yeah, I'm gonna be Christian, I'm gonna really try, and then just the next day kind of be like, yeah, it's whatever. You really just have to do it.
I think that people, they need to go to church so that they can strengthen their relationship with God, so it's stronger than what it was the day before.
To me, a quote that comes to mind is, don't judge a book by its cover. And to me, it just means that you shouldn't judge people by the way that they look or the way that they do stuff together. You shouldn't judge them by the activities they do or the way that they act. And first of all, you shouldn't even judge people. You should just look into them and find out who they really are and try and be friends with them.
For me, a quote that really struck me was in the Bible, when the man walked up to Jesus and asked him what the greatest commandment was. And Jesus said, love God with all your heart and soul and your mind and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. That just basically sums it up for me.
As far as advice I'd give anyone trying to be a better Christian, I'd say that you should do all the things that we're saying. Yeah, they'll help you be a better Christian, but they're of no good if we don't have a good relationship with God to begin with. So I think that starting with that base is the best idea.
The Christian contemporary band Sidewalk Prophet's song, I Want to Live Like That, can move us to be better Christians.
Here are some of the lyrics.
Am I proof that you are who you say you are?
That grace can really change a heart.
Do I live like your love is true?
People pass, and even if they don't know my name.
Is there evidence that I've been changed?
When they see me, do they see you?
I want to live like that.
And give it all I have.
So that everything I say and do points to you.
Does everything you say and do point to Jesus?
Is your life about trying to be a better Christian and growing into a deeper relationship with God?
We'd love to know.
Contact us at realfaithtv.com or share your thoughts with us on Twitter.
And remember, to be a better Christian, we need to fix our gaze on Christ.
In the National Directory for Catechesis, we read,
If we seek to know ourselves and the meaning of our lives,
we should look to Christ.
For he worked with human hands.
He thought with a human mind.
He acted with a human will.
And with a human heart, he loved.
So let us love with a human heart filled with the light of Christ.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time on
Real Faith TV.
God bless.